Can you solve all these physical anthropology questions? The study of fossils.
Well picked. Paleontology is the correct answer.
Study of human culture.
Excellent choice. Anthropology is the right answer.
Study of prehistoric fossils.
You got it. Your choice, paleontology, is right.
Anthropology has how many subfields?
Perfect. Phi is the correct choice. The study of human culture is known as sharp thinking. Anthropology is the right choice.
What is the study of humankind called?
Great thinking. Anthropology is the right choice.
Who wrote archaeology as anthropology?
Valid point. Lewis Binford is true.
Biological anthropology used to be called.
Correct. Physical anthropology is the right answer.
A decision reached after examining evidence.
Nice selection. Conclusion is the correct and valid answer.
Use skeletal body remains for identification.
Nicely done. Anthropology is a solid answer.
The process of replacing cartilage with bone.
Bravo. Ossification is the answer.
How many branches of anthropology are there?
Smart pick. 4 is the correct choice. Which are the 4 subdivisions of anthropology? Strong choice. Biological, cultural, linguistic, archaeology is the right answer.
Cultural bias in anthropology is described as.
Great job. Ethnocentrism is the accurate answer.
What are the 2 broad fields of anthropology?
Good job. Physical and cultural works well here.
It is a science that studies human civilization.
Exactly. Sociology makes sense.
The word anthropos from anthropology means dash.
Well reasoned. Human is the correct choice. Which is not a sub-branch of cultural anthropology. Smart move. Biology is an accurate answer.
Anthropology is the combination of the Greek words.
Correct response. Anthropos and logos is the most accurate answer.
How long has Clemson offered a major in anthropology?
Excellent. 11 years is a brilliant choice.
The study of objects to learn about past human life.
Right again. Archaeology is a valid answer.
Describes the similarities and differences in culture.
Solid response. Cultural anthropology is a valid choice.
Economic anthropology is a main branch of anthropology.
Nice work. You chose false, and it is correct.
The term anthropology came from which 2 Greek words? You chose logos and anthros, and it is correct. This is the study of the origins of people and societies. Right choice. Anthropology is the best answer.
In which branch of anthropology would genetics be studied?
Well done. Biological anthropology is the right choice. What is not one of the primary 4 fields of anthropology?
Clear logic. Your choice business anthropology is sound. The study of humans from a biological perspective is called. You're right. Physical anthropology is the correct answer.
What is the systematic study of people and cultures known as? On track. Anthropology is the correct answer.
Study of humanity from a broad and biological perspective dash.
Good thinking. Anthropology is the right answer.
Studies the biological dimensions of humans and other primates.
Nicely done. Physical anthropology is a solid answer.
What did Frank Cushing contribute to the world of anthropology?
Valid point. Participant observation is true.
This is everything that a person learns as a member of a society.
Well reasoned. Culture is the correct choice. Ethnology and linguistics belong to which field of anthropology?
You got it. Your choice cultural is right.
Is the physical duration of sound is referred to as its quantity? Sharp thinking. Length is the right choice. Shamanic practices are within the scope of cultural anthropology.
Nice selection. Not given is the correct and valid answer.
Dash is the study of human culture and how it develops over time. On track. Anthropology is the correct answer. Something that shows proof or an indication that something is true. You're right. Evidence is the correct answer. The physical record of a person's life as told by his or her bones. Nice work. You chose osteobiography and it is correct. Dash is the study of the past by looking at what people left behind. Right choice. Archaeology is the best answer. Which of the following is not a sub-branch of physical anthropology? Great job. Ethnolinguistic is the accurate answer. Which of these is most closely associated with cultural anthropology? Great thinking. Social sciences is the right choice. Which of the following is not a major area in biological anthropology?
Solid response. Ethnology is a valid choice.
What is the study of human origins, evolution, and diversity known as? Clear logic? Your choice anthropology is sound. A class of individuals with similar physical characteristics are called good thinking. Species is the right answer. Discipline of anthropology that deals with the study of human genetics. Correct response. Biological physical anthropology is the most accurate answer. Which of the following kinds of work would applied anthropology include? Correct. All of the above is the right answer. Investigation of past cultures through the excavation of materials remains. Excellent choice. Archaeology is the right answer. Which field of anthropology studies the relationships of people in groups? You chose social anthropology, and it is correct. Is enriched by contributions from various disciplines and goes beyond them. Perfect. Anthropology is the correct choice. Which of the following studies the remains and artifacts of ancient people? Strong choice. Archaeology is the right answer. It investigates and seeks to understand the cultural features of societies.
Excellent. Cultural anthropology is a brilliant choice.
It deals with the archaeological sites on land, both open and cave sites.
Well done. Terrestrial is the right choice.
Which field of anthropology studies the language structure of the Seminoles?
Right again. Linguistic anthropology is a valid answer. An anthropologist examines a decomposed body to determine the cause of death.
Smart move. Cultural anthropology is an accurate answer. What is the scientific study of past human cultures and civilizations called? Exactly. Archaeology makes sense.
All the physical objects or artifacts that people make and attach meaning to.
Good job. Material culture works well here.
Which field of anthropology studies the symbols, laws, and values of a society?
Well picked. Cultural anthropology is the correct answer.
One of the aims of cultural anthropology is to gather information about nature.
Bravo. False is the answer. Is the study of human beings as a species and as members of different cultures? Smart pick. Anthropology is the correct choice. What was the most common kind of anthropology in the late 1800s to early 1900s? Nice selection. Salvage anthropology is the correct and valid answer. Studies the way of life of contemporary and historically recent human societies. Excellent choice. Cultural anthropology is the right answer. Studies language in its social and cultural context across space and over time. Nice work. You chose linguistic anthropology and it is correct.
Which field of anthropology studies the artifacts of ancient Mayan civilizations?
Right choice. Archaeology is the best answer. Looks into the biological development of humans and their contemporary variation. Clear logic? Your choice, physical anthropology, is sound. It is the systematic study of political and government institutions and processes. Smart pick. Political science is the correct choice. All the physical things that people create and attach meaning to.
Nicely done. Material culture is a solid answer. Which anthropology studied the Yanomami indigenous peoples in the Amazon rainforest?
You chose Napoleon Chagnon, and it is correct. DNA found only in the mitochondria that is inherited through mothers, never fathers. On track, mitochondrial DNA is the correct answer. Cultural anthropology studies the similarities and differences among societies. Strong choice. Both of them is the right answer. What is the application of the techniques of biological anthropology to solve crimes? Well reasoned. Forensic anthropology is the correct choice. The field of science that would be involved in identifying skeletal remains is called. Right again. Forensic anthropology is a valid answer.
This theory believes that each society has its own particular historical development.
Bravo. Historical particularism is the answer. It is the study of past human cultures through the recovery and analysis of artifacts.
You got it. Your choice, archaeology, is right.
The investigation of bones and the marks on them to uncover a potential cause of death. Valid point. Skeletal trauma analysis is true. The study of origin, behavior, as well as the physical, social and cultural development. Great thinking. Anthropology is the right choice. This branch of anthropology looks at past cultures by studying their material remains.
Good job. Archaeology works well here.
It includes the study of communications origins, history, and contemporary variation.
Correct response. Linguistic anthropology is the most accurate answer.
Refers to the study of living people and their cultures, including variation and change.
Perfect. Cultural anthropology is the correct choice.
Cultural anthropology asks whether human emotions are universal or culturally specific.
Good thinking. True is the right answer.
Studies the interrelationships between language and other aspects of a people's culture.
Great job. Linguistics is the accurate answer.
Which field of anthropology studies how people in a society communicate with each other?
Well done. Linguistic anthropology is the right choice.
Which subfield of anthropology focuses on the study of language and its role in society?
Solid response. Linguistic anthropology is a valid choice.
The practical use of anthropological theories and methods outside the academic setting is correct. Applied anthropology is the right answer.
Uses anthropological perspectives, theory, and knowledge to solve real-world problems. Well picked. Applied anthropology is the correct answer.
A distinguishing feature of anthropology is its approach to the study of human groups.
Sharp thinking. Holistic is the right choice. Discipline of anthropology that focuses on use of language in a particular time and society. Smart move. Linguistic anthropology is an accurate answer.
Focuses on these special interests, human evolution as revealed by fossil and human genetics.
You're right. Biological or physical anthropology is the correct answer.
Which of the following studies culture from their belief systems, practices, and possessions? Exactly. Cultural anthropology makes sense.
The study of physical anthropology as it applies to human skeletal remains in a legal setting.
Excellent. Forensic anthropology is a brilliant choice.
Emile Durkheim, Auguste Comte, Pierre Bourdieu, and Max Weber are the main representatives of
Great thinking. Sociology is the right choice. It studies the materials remains of humans, best known for the study of prehistoric cultures. Well done. Archaeology is the right choice. Creations and abstract ideas that are not embodied in physical objects. Good thinking. Non-material culture is the right answer.
It is the study of humanity, including our prehistoric origins and contemporary human diversity.
Bravo. Anthropology is the answer. It deals with the study of the nature of humanity, which also leads to examine our social role. Strong choice. Sociology is the right answer.
Notion that the cultural differences are due to or influenced by one's physical characteristics.
Valid point. Biological determinism is true.
Which subfield of anthropology examines the ways in which people use language to create meaning?
Nice selection. Linguistic anthropology is the correct and valid answer.
Which of the following studies biological development of humans and their contemporary variation?
Correct. Physical anthropology is the right answer.
The investigation of the marks on bone, and their condition to uncover a potential cause of death.
You chose skeletal trauma analysis, and it is correct. Promote to study of a society's culture through their belief systems, practices, and possessions. Well reasoned. Cultural anthropology is the correct choice. What interdisciplinary study explores how language shapes communication and influences social life? Right choice. Linguistic anthropology is the best answer.
What is the field of anthropology that explores the central role of language in human cultural life?
Excellent. Linguistic anthropology is a brilliant choice. Which field of anthropology studies how goods and services are produced and distributed in a society? Excellent choice. Social anthropology is the right answer.
Which field of anthropology studies fossil remains to learn how human characteristics have developed?
Exactly. Physical anthropology makes sense.
Which subfield of anthropology involves the collection and analysis of data on non-Western societies?
Good job. Cultural anthropology works well here.
It reconstructs, describe and interpret human behavior and cultural patterns through material remains.
Smart pick. Archaeological anthropology is the correct choice.
Which type of societal evolution is described when organisms undergo various genetic and physical changes?
You got it. Your choice, biological, is right.
Which facial feature is the most distinguishing among the three main races in forensic anthropology?
Great job. Prognatism text objective 8.5 is the accurate answer.
What is the field of anthropology devoted to describing and understanding the wide variety of human cultures?
Smart move. Cultural anthropology is an accurate answer.
Dash also looks at prehistoric times. Paleontologists study fossils to learn what the world was like long ago.
Nice work. You chose paleontology, and it is correct.
What is the term for the systematic study of human remains to understand past populations and their lifestyles?
Well picked. Biological anthropology is the correct answer.
Which of the anthropological subfields most prepares a student with the skills for success in the 21st century?
Perfect. Cultural anthropology is the correct choice.
It is the study of culture through the interpretation of the meaning of symbols, values, and beliefs in society.
Nicely done. Symbolic anthropology is a solid answer.
If you were interested in languages, their origin and development, which branch of anthropology would you study? E.
You're right. Linguistics is the correct answer.
Which subfield of anthropology involves the excavation and analysis of material remains left by past human societies?
Clear logic. Your choice, archaeology, is sound.
The scientific study of the origins and behavior, as well as the physical, social, and cultural development of humans.
Correct response. Anthropology is the most accurate answer. Choose the correct option.
Right again. Linguistic anthropology is a valid answer.
Which subfield of anthropology studies the cultural beliefs, practices, and social institutions of different societies?
Sharp thinking. Cultural anthropology is the right choice.
Which field of anthropology is primarily interested in the prehistory and early history of societies and their cultures?
On track. Archaeology is the correct answer.
Which subfield of anthropology focuses on the study of human biological diversity and the evolution of the human species?
Solid response. Physical anthropology is a valid choice.
It is an academic discipline that deals with the study of government and political processes, institutions, and behaviors.
Right again. Political science is a valid answer.
Which field of anthropology studies the material creations of a society, including artwork, housing, tools, and architecture?
Well done. Cultural anthropology is the right choice. This theory is basically materialistic. It assumes that the systems of producing material goods influences and shapes society.
You're right. Marxist anthropology is the correct answer.
The branch of anthropology that studies human biology, both past and present, including human evolution and contemporary biological variability.
Well picked. Physical anthropology is the correct answer.
The key factors in and determinants of socio-cultural evolution are the infrastructures that include technology, environment, and material conditions.
Nicely done. Cultural materialism is a solid answer.
The analysis of differences in skeletal remains to determine identity is.
Clear logic. Your choice forensic anthropology is sound.
The anthropological analysis of human biological and cultural remains for legal purposes.
Correct response. Forensic anthropology is the most accurate answer.
Which field of anthropology is primarily concerned with the non-cultural aspects of humans and near humans?
Excellent choice. Biological anthropology is the right answer.
How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format.
You got it. Your choice contact Narayan Chengder is right.